Hello, welcome to our channel. It is the Tuesday, I think it's the 12th of August, 2025. It's getting here almost September. Our economy is falling apart because things are too expensive, right? And nobody at the top seems to understand. Things are too expensive. We'll go through that in a minute. And as things go up in price, so do gold and silver. Stocks don't seem to keep up with inflation, do they? You made 7% on your stocks. I made 20% on my gold. My silver's up through the roof. Why? Because the economic system is changing. We've taken God out of America. And as things start to change rapidly, gold and silver will go up in value as the dollar becomes more and more worthless. You don't think it's worthless? When was the last time you went to the grocery store? The politicians don't. My ounce of gold buys the same amount of bread it did 100 years ago. Actually, it buys more bread now. So gold has gone up in value. The dollar has dropped in value. Get a clue. That's why I call Noble Gold 877-646-5347. There's so much fake gold and silver out there, I can't keep track of it. You go to eBay and buy a silver coin, it might be fake. You don't know. You don't have a $500 or $1,000 machine to find out if that silver is real. And even if it isn't real, what are you going to do? Challenge eBay over a silver coin? Go to your local coin dealer to buy one coin, or go to Noble Gold and get it in quantity. Comes to you very well. And as the economic system begins to collapse, we're losing 20 million square feet of retail space already is gone this year. We're looking at 30 to 40 million square feet of retail space gone in America. Nobody's ever come close to that. Our whole system is shutting down thanks to Biden. And since Trump's not going to obey God, then it's going to continue to shut down. His little fingers in the dike aren't going to work. You either do what God asks you to do or the system comes apart. Anyway, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Things are getting too expensive. They've taken prayer out of the educational system. You're not allowed to say the word God in the educational system. They've reduced parental authority over the children, where the teachers own the children. They own your children. You sign your life away to them when you give them your kids to go to school. They can kill them. They can send them to psychiatrists. They can kidnap them. They can do anything they want because they have custody of the children. They've destroyed the Christian family structure. Sex is free. Abortion is free. Divorce is easy and legal, and a woman gets everything from the man, which is illegal in God's eyes. The judges are going to start dropping dead for doing this. So says the I am that I am, who was and is to come. They've made homosexuality and LGBTQXYZ, gay, faggot, whatever. We've got 52 sexes in America, and right here in Washington State. And gay and faggot and LGBT are all one of the actual legal sexes in Washington State. Unbelievable evil in the blue states. They've debased art. They've used the media to promote your change in your mindset through television. And Trump has to stop that, or God's going to take America away from Trump in 29 days. He's going to start taking it away. He'll either ask what God wants and do what God wants, or he'll start taking it away from him. It created an interfaith movement. Muslims are just the same as Christians. They're just the same as Buddhists. They're just the same as Hindus. Just because they cut a goat's throat and dance underneath it while it bleeds out, it's the same as Muslimism. Really? It's sick. And get the governments to make all these laws and get the churches to endorse the changes. Oh, he's our Muslim brother just because he worships the god of war, Lahwa. So all these people came over to England 2 days ago yelling, Allah Akbar, kill the Christians, kill the Jews. And they let them in. They just let them in. Europe is falling apart. So in the meantime, things are getting very expensive. They're going to go through the roof in Europe. So my wife goes down to help a friend get rid of her big C and her blacking out and her headaches. And she works in a medical community still, and the medical instruments cause her to have massive headaches. Massive headaches. And everybody who works in that environment gets the big C or a neurological disease. It's in the neurological magazines. I've read the articles. So part of that, she went to the VA and she went to Vegas then to fly home. Well, she took somebody out in St. George, Utah. Remember, her friend makes $90,000 a year, good salary, right? Except she only brings home $1,500 a week. That's $39,000. We gotta support the illegal aliens. We have to have this interfaith movement by bringing 500 million black Muslims into North America. We've got to do that. The United Nations set that goal in 1944 when they were initiated through Madame Blavatsky the witch. This has all been preordained, and then we must get rid of humanity by 2025. So they just did another broadcast. So she goes to St. George, takes 3 people out, $240 to take 2 other people out. 200. One guy had a steak. These 2 girls had a light meal. Both girls had a drink, and that was it. $240. Nobody can afford to go out anymore. The prices are through the roof, Alice, because the government has more regulations, more regulations, more regulations. In the meantime, they're shutting down food production through the 55th and the 60th Air Wing, through NASA when they seized Dryden Air from Russia, stole it, and through the High Area Aurora Resolution Program in Alaska. The one at Thule Air Force Base north in Greenland and the one at Norway are just a couple of antennas. If you look at your cities and your county buildings, they have all kinds of antennas on them. They guide the storms in. Right now, they're guiding a storm in to kill more people in Florida and the Carolinas. Go NASA! And we've got to support those illegals, so we're only going to hit and flood out farming areas. Massive storms. Microstorms, they call them. Go NASA! And so my wife goes to Vegas, right? She stays at the D. She stayed at the D before, only this time it's dirty and grungy. She stayed last year, it looked new. She stayed there this year, it looked dirty and grungy. Everything's worn out in Vegas. Everything. There's homeless everywhere. There's trash in the streets. People begging you for money, harassing you for money. So they go to Oscar's up the street from the D. They order 2 shrimp, 2 meatballs, 2 drinks, a little plate of fries, and a cookie, which they split into a dessert for 2. A cookie. They ordered a cookie. That was Oscar's dessert, a frickin' little cookie. Can you believe that? They didn't even bring ice cream or pie or nothing, just a cookie. $120 for 2 shrimp and 2 meatballs and a cookie. $120. Nobody can afford to go out. You go out, if you're bringing in a normal salary of, $60,000 a year, you're taking home probably in the neighborhood of $25,000. That's $2,000 a month. You're paying rent at $1,500 a month. You can't afford $120 or $240 to go out. But the politicians don't pay for anything. It's all paid for. Nobody's above ground anymore. They're all underground. They don't have to buy food. They don't know what a loaf of bread costs. You think Nancy Pelosi number 2 or Hillary number 6 knows what a loaf of bread costs? You think I am a clone, I answer to an AI, Newsom, a robot, knows what a loaf of bread costs? He couldn't care less. He never has eaten in his life, and if he does, it's just spat out. Do you think the governor of Washington State, the lower 47 states in the People's Republic of Washington, that was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the communist pig. He knew in the 40s that Washington State was a communist state. The difference between communism and socialism at the speed at which you get there, Zig Heil. So, we've got to support those illegals. Got to support them. And the homeless are on the streets because according to university study after university study after university study, all the low-income housing is given to the illegal aliens. And there's nothing left for Americans. So they're all out on the streets. So you people with a heart for America who want to help the homeless, get rid of the illegals, you morons. And there'll be plenty of room for Americans. I've been to those places. I've been inside those low-income housing units. And by God, I went by a church who's already been compromised, and it says, get governments to make all these laws and get the church to endorse these changes. Well, the church did endorse the changes. And they found out that they could bring a person over for $10,000 a month and take that money and put them in a little shed about the size of this, half the size of this room, and call it a house and collect enormous amounts of money. So this church over down 6th Avenue, across the street from Sonic Burger, has a homeless camp. They might have 50 people in that homeless camp. Well, they're getting $8,000 a month. Well, $10,000 a month if you include everything else. $10,000 a month for 50 people. Now, what does it come out to? 10,000, 100,000, $500,000 a month to put in a few homeless sheds and put a fence up. And you're not allowed in because you're not a resident. And it's a private housing complex you pay for. So that church is making $500,000 a month. You think they're going to stop that? No. As soon as somebody figures out that they can get the $8,000 a month, they move out and then they bring another one in. Doesn't matter where it's from. Kenya, which is now having a war thanks to Lockheed Martin because they discovered conflict. Doesn't matter if they're from Indonesia to the church people, or from the Ukraine, or if they're from Alaska. $10,000 a month is $10,000 a month. Who cares what race the person is? That's the churches of today. Completely compromised. A homeless shelter is built 2 blocks away from a church, and they put up a giant black wrought iron fence and say, keep out. That's a church. They don't go over there and witness to them. They don't bring them food. They're not nice to them. They build a big fence. That's one on McKinley. And they say, keep out and guard the church. Because that organization is getting $10,000 a month per homeless person. Actually, they got $5 million to house 35 people for a year. Pretty good thing. And then they up and moved, closed it down and moved. Got another $5 million to house the same 35 people. While they were there, the robberies skyrocketed. Just through the roof, Alice. Why? Because that's who they are. They're burglars. So the idea of a $39 red-eye special where they fly you, and this was up until about 10 years ago, when Clinton and Obama destroyed the economy. And then comes Biden, who never signed anything. And then Congress went underground, Supreme Court went underground, the White House is underground. Except a few people in the White House to make it look legitimate. You know, one of the Trump doubles was up on a roof the other day to make it look legitimate, but there were no snipers up there, which means it wasn't well manned. So up until about 10 years ago, you could go from Seattle to Vegas for $39. You stay in a hotel. The whole hotel looked nice. There were no homeless out there, and you could gamble away. Ding, ding, ding. You'd hear these dings all over the place. Now there's no dings in the casinos. Nobody's winning anything. So Las Vegas business is down 50% since last year. I could tell the casino owners why, but they're walking, talking demons. You think they'd listen to a little guy like me? Not on your life. The place is a filthy mess. There's trash on the floor. There's trash on the floor in the hotel. Nobody cares. The management doesn't care. The D has turned into a dump. That's what she said. The Devil's Hotel has turned into a dump. So, prices are through the roof. You ever look at the price of beef lately? Yeah. The price of chicken. And then to add insult to injury, my wife comes home on a plane, right? And she goes to buy a bottle of water because the tap water tastes too fluoridated. She buys a bottle of water from the Department of Homeland Security, whose only interest is money. They need to be dissolved. From the Department of Homeland Security, Zingha, for $6, she takes a couple sips and realizes there's as much fluoride or more fluoride in the bottled water than in the tap. RFK didn't do a dang thing. Oh, we're going to take RNA out of the shots. So now they're spraying it on the vegetables. The second they started the spraying on, Moderna started spraying on the vegetables, Tirana, their new company, He took it out of the shots. You see, he's nothing but a walking, talking demon. He never took the fluoride out of the water. He's worthless. Absolutely worthless. I think they're counting on this magnetic anomaly in January to wipe out the rest of humanity. But in the meantime, the UN broadcast really shocked me when they said they're going to eliminate humanity. This is 4 broadcasts in a row. New moon meeting, full moon meeting, new moon meeting, full moon, blah, 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 blah. That we have to be. The principle of freedom is to kill us and put us in the astral plane. Well, God's people don't go to the astral plane. According to head of Johns Hopkins University, we don't treat people's sicknesses. We let them die so we can learn how to fight our way back into heaven. This was the head of Johns Hopkins Medical University 4 years ago. Let me say that one last time. Our purpose is not to heal people. It's to watch people die so we can learn to fight our way back into heaven. The rock plane, the plant plane, the human plane, the astral plane, the upper astral plane, and all is energy. The manufacturing plane, it makes everything, the mind plane, the God plane. There's 3 or 4 in-between levels. I don't know all of it since I've never been there. Nobody's really explained it to me. The only explanation is from Lockheed Martin at the Lucifer Trust meetings. And he was telling the truth. He had no reason to lie. But you can't get above the upper astral plane. Lucifer's tried 1,000 million times and he's stuck. So he screws with everything in the upper astral plane and the lower astral plane. All 69 planets in our solar system he screws with. Why? Because he hates. He claims he controls 5 solar systems. Listen to the Lucifer broadcasts. Mostly he tells the truth, and then there's the 10% lie factor. So he ends up lying to you. So Vegas is now ready to, rather than pulling water out of the air and getting clean water, they're going to take their sewer water, grandma's poop and pee, and they're going to start distilling it and feeding it back to you. You know, if you built a glass box with a glass top, I did once, the wind blew it over. That water goes up to the top, settles down in a trough. It's a cheap way to make water. But Vegas requires a lot of water. And they got a lot of solar panels. So why can't they set up 1 million air conditioners to bring water out of the... Why can't the hotels that air condition everything use that water to flush their own toilets? An air conditioner makes 5 gallons a day. They took our toilets from 5-gallon flush to 1-gallon flush. Why can't they use it to flush the toilets in Vegas? Because they don't want to use it. They dump it down the sewer. So Vegas is filthy and expensive, and their business is down 50%. I could work with them to bring it back. But do you see a Las Vegas casino owner coming to God for advice? Really? Do you see Trump coming to God for advice? Really? God's going to start taking America away from him. And America has until the end of December to repent, or you know what's going to hit the fan. And it won't be this magnetic anomaly. It will be the King of Kings and Lord of Lords destabilizing the plates. Volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, combined with NASA, University of Alaska High Area Aurora Resolution Program and the 55th and 60th Air Wing, all funded with our taxpayers to kill us. America doesn't have a chance as they bring in another 200 million Muslims from Africa into America, so we can create an interfaith movement, part of the 10-point plan of Madame Blavatsky, adopted by China, France, England, the United States, and Russia in 1944, when the UN was formed in San Francisco and then moved to New York. God bless. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow.